I'm putting out some different episodes on this podcast to talk to everyone, but especially my daughter. One of the ideas I had for this podcast was to leave messages, digital signatures that I could for my daughter when she's grown up. I hope, and I'm doing what I can to be around for a long time, but if I'm not, then hopefully these can suffice. Today, I want to talk about being enough and that you are enough. I don't know who you are, where you're at, and what you're dealing with, but I want to tell you right now, you really are enough. Each of us is like a snowflake, something that is completely unique, or fingerprint. And the way each of us is made is beautiful in the way it is. Now, you might not be like everyone else. I know that growing up, I was the tall, skinny kid, and that wasn't always easy for me. It was kind of embarrassing sometimes that I wasn't the strong guy. But I learned to love myself and love who I was. And you know who really helped me with this? Is your Grandma Carolyn. Now, my mom was absolutely awesome because my mom understood that no two people are the same. And I remember one special summer, my mom did something that was really cool. She was stressed out having these kids home all summer, and she wanted to figure out what sports and activities we could do. So instead of doing one sports or activity, we did them all, like everything. My mom signed us up for every last sport that you could imagine, and we tried them out. And you know what I learned that summer? A couple great things. The number one thing, I hate tennis. Now, tennis can be fun to play, but it's hot. It's out under the sun. And I didn't enjoy tennis in any way, shape, or form. I also learned golf. It's hot also. You're in the sun a lot. And the fresh grass kind of bugs me. It gives me allergies. Not a big fan of golf. The other thing that I learned that summer, I'm really bad at golf. Like when I hit the ball and it's supposed to go that way, the ball somehow goes that way. And for people who are listening, the ball doesn't go where it's supposed to. And did everything my teacher told me. It doesn't work like that. I learned that I love basketball, but I'm not good at it. I learned that bowling, not my strong suit. And I learned that I'm really good at martial arts. It comes naturally to me. Now, what is that all about? My mom put us in all these different sports to try to find out what we were good at. But you know what was just as important, which was finding out what we're not good at, what we don't like. And certainly, I'm sure that I could become good at those things by putting in the time and the work. But if you don't even enjoy it, that's a good thing to know. It's good to know who you are. It's good to know what's special about you and what makes you unique. Now, my daughter Elani always comes up to me and talks about having a birthmark. She's got a birthmark on her leg, and she always says, "Daddy, is that special? Is it special that I have that?" And I'm like, Elani, the fact that you have a birthmark is special. But you know what's more special than that? The fact that you're you. Every little thing about you is different. It's special. You're unique. Just like every other person on this planet is unique as well. We all are special and one of a kind. There's nobody else in the world like you, and that's kind of your superpower. The fact that you are uniquely you. And every single one of us is on a journey to really understand who we are. In the movie City Slickers, there's a great scene where Billy Crystal asks this guy, "What's the secret of life?" And Curly puts his finger up and says this. It's one thing. Doesn't say much. But what it's all about is that all of us are on a journey to find our ikigai. What is the thing that brings you joy? What is the thing that brings you value in life? What is the thing that makes you shine? And when you figure out what that is, you got to lean into it. You've got to embrace it, and you've got to run with it. Now, there's a couple things to remember with this. Now, as you go down that path of figuring out who you are and what's important to you, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to try things out and then realize that it wasn't meant for you. Maybe it's the job that you did for a while that for a time was really meaningful for you. And then suddenly you realize it's not serving you anymore. Maybe it's the sport or hobby that you pick up and you think is going to be the thing that you do for a long time, but then it's not. Mistakes are just a way that we learn and grow. They don't make you less, they make you human. And that's important because we're this human thing running around interacting with the world. And it's not always easy. Being human is painful. Being human is challenging, but being human can also be beautiful. It's all about how you work with it, how you run with it, and how you embrace it. Now, think back to when you were learning to walk. As a child, maybe probably you can't remember it. So think back to watching someone else's baby learn to walk. Now, when Ilani was learning to walk, I was terrified. I put fabric around everything, cushions on everything, and I tried to make the space as safe as possible. But she still fell down, because we all do. Now, part of learning to walk is the process of falling down. Part of learning who you are, part of learning how to succeed, part of growing is failing. Now, the thing to remember is that when you fail, you have to get back up. You got to keep going. It might not be easy at times to get back up, but if you can do it, you're going to learn better about how to be you and to be a better version of yourself. Because if we're not growing, if we're not improving, we're just staying the same. And that's okay too. But I challenge you to try to figure out who you are, because I believe that happiness is on the other side of that. I believe that when we make decisions that are in line with our values, or in line with our ikigai, in line with our passion to help this world, to be a better person, a better part of this world, then everything lines up like a miracle, like that. Remember that what you do doesn't always define you. Like, you can do many different things. They can be part of your life. But even if something doesn't turn out the way you want, maybe you had a job that didn't go the way you wanted, or maybe you had a relationship that didn't work out right. Now, whatever it is that you're going through, those things don't have to define you. And if you feel like it's a part of defining who you are, well, you can take a chance to redefine who you are. That's a cool thing to do, is to sit there and say, you know what? That's the old Sean. Well, what's the new Sean going to be about? What's the new Sean going to be all about? Maybe you redefine yourself by getting a new hairstyle, or buying some new clothes, or changing just the way you talk about yourself. Maybe you told all your friends, I'm not good with money. I have bad relationships. I'm not the best at that. I'm not the smartest. Well, you know what? You can start telling yourself different things and start putting better ideas into your own head. Maybe you think you aren't good with money. Well, maybe you need to take a class and learn about it. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking a great class online on Coursera about personal finance, because I wasn't good at money, but I want to be. I wasn't good at many different things, but I want to be, and I can get better. And that's something that's beautiful. We can always improve. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You are loved for who you are, and embrace that. Now, I would say to everyone listening to this, remember gratitude. Think about all the wonderful things that make up who you are. Maybe you're kind. Maybe you are good with talking to people. Maybe you're creative. Now, whatever those things are that make you amazing, they are who you are. And you can make up a list of all of those things and write down and say, you know what? I'm thankful for this. For me, I'm good with people. I'm good with talking to people. I'm also good with educating and teaching people. And this is something I love doing. I love little talks like this. I love sharing knowledge and trying to share ideas, because to me, it's something that I can do to help make our world a little bit kinder, nicer, and sweeter of a place. And I have to sit there and thank whatever powers there are in the universe that you can thank, even if it's just fate, that I ended up the way I am. And if I had a more challenging condition, I would still be thankful for the things I can be thankful for. There is always something in your life that you can be thankful for, even if it's simply drawing breath. And if that's your starting point today, let it be a good one. And wherever you start feeling doubt about who you are and where you're coming from, remember that comparisons aren't helpful. Whatever that person you think who's a great achiever, who's got their life all together, they might not be happy. They might actually long for the life that you're living. And I see this all the time. I live in Vietnam and I have a very unique life. And a lot of people, don't understand the struggles I have. And I long for change, and I long for the ability to move back home sometimes. I miss my family. But I have so many friends who long for what I have, who long for the reality that I live in. And the thing is, for all of us to remember, is to be thankful for where we're at, to be thankful for the life that we're living, and to be thankful for everything that is coming our way. It might not always be easy. It might be challenging sometimes. But remember that great people were not made great by easy conditions. Great people were made great by challenging conditions. They were made great by the choices they made and by stepping up and living a different way. And that comes to our next point. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, celebrate those small wins. Now, I can't say that there's always going to be an easy answer. Probably, and more likely, you're going to have one big project that you want to look at, and you have to break it down into little tasks. And when you start doing that, you can start celebrating each one of those little wins. For me, I'm going through a big career shift right now. I picked a career that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So what can I do to make the change? Well, I have this big overarching change I want to make, and I'm breaking it down into little things. And you know what? At the end of the day, that change, everything that's going on, it doesn't affect who I am. This is who I am. The actions that I put out into the world, that's who I am. The ability to make inspirational content, that's who I am. The lessons that I want to teach other people, that's who I am. And I have so many great things that have allowed me the position to do that. The ability to do that and all the choices, just like when Steve Jobs in his great speech at Stanford says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. My career in film and television prepared me to be able to make videos like this to help inspire other people. Can you give me 5 minutes?
I need your money.
I put your wallet upstairs, baby.
What?
It's in our room, or in your room. It's on the desk. Go with the flow.
Hi, everyone.
We're going to keep that.
I cannot enter and not saying hi.
Hi. We're going to keep that in the video. Go with the flow, because you never know who's going to walk in the middle of your podcast. My wife is always bringing spontaneity into my life, and I can adapt and bounce back and still finish the episode. That's the small win in my life. And don't downplay the ability to have some humor. Whatever you're going through, wherever you're at, whatever challenges you have will be made much easier if you can laugh. I know that I am beyond blessed to have met my wife. And through the last couple years, when we've had a really tough time, we kept each other going. We kept each other afloat. Little things like that. Her walking in and being completely absent-minded, that me telling her, I just handed you your wallet. I can laugh about that. And it makes life better. It makes life easier. Taps into the next thing. The power of kindness. I'm not always good at this. Sometimes I'm kind of an a-hole. Because I like to call people out on things that I perceive as an injustice, things that I perceive as an insult. But I have to remember the power of kindness, and you do too. We all do. I remember today we were filming a video. Me and V were filming a really nice video on the main walking street in Ho Chi Minh City. And there was a kid that was watching us, and her parents were there. And she felt uncomfortable. She was looking at everything, and I smiled. And she smiled, and her mom smiled. And it just showed us that we are all human. We are all trying to figure things out and get through life. And this life that we're living is not always easy. I know that I doubt myself constantly, especially as I've been going through this career transition. I find myself doubting all of my choices, doubting, have I made the right decisions in life? And am I the right best version of Sean I could be? And you know what the answer to that is? Probably not. Probably some of the decisions I made were bad decisions, but I'm where I'm at. And we have to all remember one thing, that it's our job to love ourselves unconditionally. When I think back to people I've wronged, people that I've hurt, and there are many, I hate to admit that there are many. I have to remind myself, you know what? I did the best I could at that time. Doesn't mean I'm going to make those mistakes again. That's a big part of it. You have to get better. But I can also say that I love myself unconditionally and I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. And to all of you out there, you guys are loved. Whoever needs to hear that today, you are loved. If you need anything, reach out to people who can help you, people who care about you. And if someone that you know might not be feeling that great, you can tell them that they are loved. Tell each other. Be open, honest with sharing the love and care you have for the people around you, because it's important to do. Now, when you start forgetting that, you got to remember to start talking to yourself in a kind way. The self-talk that we have, it matters. And if you want to be aware of being enough, you need to start telling yourself you're enough. This doesn't mean that we don't grow. Me, I'm currently studying how to program with Python, project management from Google, personal finance. These are all things that I'm trying to learn and better myself. And that's awesome. I'm also trying to get back to physical fitness. I want to get back to martial arts. I have a whole list of things that I would like to get back into. Playing guitar as well. There's a lot. There's a lot of ways that you can constantly strive to be better. And when you try new things and you try to learn new things, you're going to learn that there are things that you're good at. There's things that you're bad at. And whatever that might be, open up and embrace it. And see if it can be part of your new reality, part of the new you. Growth and learning are life's great adventure. Life is about growing. It's not just about being perfect. Every step, no matter how small, is part of this grand adventure. And you might feel like you're lost and on this path that you have no control over. But remember, any of the greatest movies out there, the hero, they're always ill-prepared for the journey. Luke Skywalker, he was just a kid. He had no idea what he was doing. I mean, literally, he looked at a lightsaber, and if he had to turn it on, it would have gone straight through his head. Harry Potter, no idea what he was doing. Any great hero out there, they started out completely unprepared, completely not ready. And maybe you are ready. The reality is that wherever you're at, you have enough information to try to figure things out. And if you feel like you don't have enough information, you have the tools to find it. You have the people around you to support you in seeking it out. But you have to try. And you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. But the most important thing to remember today is that you are enough. You have all the tools inside you to make your life absolutely magical. To all of the people listening, I wish you well. Hope you have a great weekend. And to Ailani, I love you to pieces, and I hope that this helps. See you guys next time. You guys hear that cricket? It's making me crazy. Roll with it. Life is fun. See you guys next time.